As you all know, I love, love, love to use videos to help my mentees remember the things that we've covered in our meetings. So here it is once again, three things every board member should know. Now, obviously, there's way more than three things to remember, but I think that actually I know just from experience and from meeting with my groups and meeting with various boards, I know these are three things that every board member needs to revisit and be reminded of from time to time. So I'll be maybe 10 minutes, probably less, but these key things should either strengthen you as a board member or discourage you and let you know that you should probably serve in another capacity. So, the first thing I want to cover before getting into our list of three things to remember is simply that many board members are not the board member they could be because they often don't know or realize the difference between a volunteer and a board member. Does anybody know the difference? Okay. A volunteer is great to have. Volunteers come in occasionally here or there. They bring the kids some snacks. They tutor maybe once or twice a week or something of that nature. Or maybe they're a 1 day volunteer and they pass out the waters at the 25K marathon or something to that effect. So you can be a volunteer and it can be something quick and easy. It can be something weekly or maybe once a month. But the best, or you can even be a volunteer that's there daily for months at a time. But the best part of being a volunteer is that when you're tired of it, or when you're too busy, or when life happens, you're in most cases not obligated to return. You can simply say, well, I'm too busy. I don't like it anymore. I have other things to do. I won't be back, but thank you. It was nice. Board members, this is not so. When you become a board member, you sign contracts. You make an oath and a commitment, and it's legally binding. So, not only can you be reported to the IRS, to the Department of Education, to the Secretary of State, not performing as a board member is serious. And most organizations don't follow through because it's time consuming to sue you for not keeping your word. But in some cases, they actually don't have a choice because the state comes after them and the state has them open their books to the public and they have to report that they didn't perform as well as they could have that year because of your negligence. So, having said that, let's look at some great things that will help us as board members remember who we are and what we're called to do. Um, the first thing I believe, from my experience, that every member should know, as we just discussed, is that again, you can be prosecuted. That is serious to know. This is not a club. It is just not something to do in your spare time. Again, as I mentioned before, your performance is evaluated by various grant organizations. It is evaluated by various government entities and by the organization that you're a board member of as well. So, just like a baby, even if you neglect your child, the Department of Children and Family Services comes after you. So, similarly, the state basically considers these organizations like corporate babies, is an analogy we can use here. And if you are that organization's caregiver and you don't feed it and clothe it and pour into it the way you should, you might catch a case. That's the first thing to know. Um, Now, naturally, you have to be very negligent for that to occur. But again, I just want to bring it to everyone's awareness. The second thing, again, I know I mentioned it already, but I want to emphasize it again, is that your performance is public record. So if you like to list on your resumes or your Instagram pages or anything of that nature, hey, I'm a board member of, I don't know, United Way or the Department of Children and Family Services. I've been on their board 5 years. Well, some of those organizations publish the minutes, and it's not good if it shows every month you were late or you were the only one who never gave the $1 a month requirement, or you were the one who never turned in your work on time. So if that's you, first you want to either catch up on your work because maybe you didn't realize that you weren't being a good board member. You thought you were just attending the meetings and taking notes and spending time there, but that organization isn't growing because you've simply attended the meetings. That director and those clients need so much more from you. So again, number one, don't be negligent because it could result in prosecution. Number two, your performance is public record. So you want to keep that in mind so that you don't lose future jobs or future roles as a board member elsewhere because your reputation has been tarnished because somebody read the minutes from your current organization that were posted online on the company website. And then lastly, and probably most important, is simply that when you signed a contract to become a board member, you signed a contract saying that you would work. So I think that television and various other aspects of the media give us a false impression sometimes of what it means to be a board member because they only show us sitting around tables and signing contracts and wearing great suits and things like that. Board members work. That's what it means to be a true board members. Board members raise money. Board members give money if they can. If not, they raise what they're unable to give. Board members are always saying, what can I do to make this organization better? How can I help it grow? This is a baby. It needs your nourishment. It needs you to pour into it. It needs your love. It needs you. And if you don't have the time and the ability to give it what it needs, it's best to step aside. Um, so I have a list of questions that any board member, if they're not sure how they're performing, can ask themselves. And I've been thinking over these for a few days and I wrote them down because I think they'll be truly helpful. And so number one simply just says, how often was I late or absent to the board meetings? And if that's you, it's hard to be a good board member when you don't know what's going on with the organization. You miss the latest things the organization members voted about. So they could have changed anything. The time the organization operates, the population the organization serves, or even if they didn't change a lot, again, this is going on your record that you're constantly late or absent. Um, Number two, how many assignments did you actually finish? So you don't want to be that board member who is always about to call somebody or you're waiting on a director to tell you what to do next. You're a part owner, so you can actually be doing research to help that director. You can say, I know I'm working on the building project, but because I know you're so busy, I've pulled up 3 organizations doing similar work to us, and here's what they're all doing. Can you pick one of these that you like, and then I'll find a way to make that happen. So go above and beyond to help that director. Don't sit back and say, oh, well, I don't have anything to do. You're the director's support, and they need you so that they can be better directors. Number three, ask yourself, how much did I give or raise? And it doesn't always have to be money. You can go out and ask every one of your neighbors, can you be the person who gives me a roll of paper, toilet paper in January? And can you do February? And can you do March? And can you give a pack of pencils in May? Just or even if you can't secure donations, then get the word out every day or once a week. I'm going to recruit a student for this organization, or if I'm on the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, I'm going to tell a different person each week or sell another pack of cookies each week. But you should be finding ways to get money to that organization. And then lastly, number 4, did I really give my all? And whatever that is, did I finish my work, or did I kind of do it in the car on the way to the meetings? Not that you want your organization to take over your life, but you do want to make a real effort as if it was for your own children, because God does consider this work you're doing for Him. So, in conclusion, I want to say, remember, the organization is a baby, and without your help, it may die. So don't become its caregiver unless you're like serious and committed to this work. You don't have to be a perfect board member. That's not what I'm saying. Don't be perfect. Nobody's perfect, but be serious, hardworking, and committed. So that's it for today. Thank you all for the wonderful service that you provide to the people I love. God bless you. Keep up the good work. I am Dr. Angela Isom, Director of the Henry Johnson Academy and Center.